York City. CNN Center, 820 First Avenue, Studio 7. Thursday evening, September 14th, 1989, 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time. The newsroom buzzes with controlled energy of live television production, cameras positioned for optimal angles, lighting adjusted for broadcast clarity, teleprompters displaying breaking news updates, and, most importantly, millions of viewers tuning in for CNN's primetime evening news coverage. Behind the anchor desk sits Patricia Walsh, CNN's premier investigative correspondent. 51 years old, 25 years journalism experience, Pulitzer Prize finalist for her exposé of political corruption. She's built her career on asking uncomfortable questions that powerful people prefer to avoid. Her interviews have ended political careers, exposed corporate fraud, and forced accountability from celebrities who believed their fame made them untouchable. Patricia represents everything that serious journalism demands: thorough research, fearless questioning, commitment to revealing truth, regardless of who gets hurt in the process. Her segments generate ratings because viewers know she'll extract information that other journalists either can't obtain or don't have courage to pursue on camera. Tonight's interview was scheduled as routine sports content. Heavyweight champion Mike Tyson discussing his upcoming title defense, training progress, and strategic preparation for what promises to be his most challenging fight of the year. Patricia's producers booked the segment to attract sports fans while maintaining CNN's reputation for substantive news coverage. But Patricia has spent 2 weeks investigating allegations about Mike's personal life, his marriage to Robin Givens, reports of domestic violence, and disturbing behavior that sources claim occurs away from public scrutiny. Her research suggests that Mike's public persona as disciplined athlete masks private reality that viewers deserve to understand. In Patricia's journalistic calculation, her responsibility extends beyond sports entertainment into exposing potential dangers that celebrity status might be concealing. If Mike Tyson poses risks to people in his personal life, the public needs to know, regardless of his professional achievements or commercial popularity. Across the studio, Mike Tyson sits in the guest chair wearing a conservative dark suit designed to project respectability and professional seriousness. 23 years old, undisputed heavyweight champion, he agreed to this interview expecting to discuss boxing technique, training philosophy, and strategic approaches to defending his titles against increasingly dangerous challenges. Mike's media training has focused on staying calm under pressure, avoiding controversial statements, and presenting himself as dedicated athlete rather than the intimidating figure his ring persona suggests. His managers understand that positive television appearances help secure lucrative endorsement deals and maintain the mainstream marketability that generates income beyond prize fight purses. But Mike also carries psychological conditioning that makes him hyper-aware of threats, challenges, and situations where people attempt to corner him psychologically. Street survival instincts don't disappear when cameras start rolling. They just get temporarily suppressed by professional requirements and strategic career considerations. Good evening, I'm Patricia Walsh with CNN News, she announces to the television audience. Tonight, I'm joined by heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Mike, thank you for being with us. Mike nods respectfully, following his media training. Thank you for having me, Patricia. Always happy to talk about boxing with CNN viewers. Patricia begins with seemingly routine questions designed to establish comfortable conversation before transitioning to more challenging territory. You've got a big fight coming up next month. How's training been going? Are you feeling confident about defending your titles? Mike responds according to script, discussing his preparation routine, his respect for his opponent, and his commitment to maintaining championship performance standards. His answers are professional, articulate, designed to reassure sponsors and fans that he takes his responsibilities seriously. Training's been incredible, Patricia. My team and I have developed strategies specifically for this challenger's style. I'm in the best shape of my career, mentally and physically prepared for whatever he brings to the ring. Patricia nods approvingly, but experienced viewers recognize this as setup rather than genuine interest in boxing analysis. She's establishing Mike's comfort level before deploying investigative techniques that have made her career reputation. That's wonderful to hear about your professional preparation, Patricia continues, her tone shifting subtly toward more serious journalism. But Mike, our viewers are intelligent people who understand that athletes are complete human beings, not just the personas they present for sports entertainment. The studio's energy changes slightly. Technical crew, recognizing that Patricia is transitioning from sports content to investigative journalism. Mike's posture tightens almost imperceptibly, his survival instincts detecting approaching challenge. Of course, Mike responds carefully. I try to be a complete person, not just a fighter. Patricia leans forward slightly, her body language signaling transition to confrontational questioning that defines her investigative approach. Mike, there have been persistent reports about violence in your personal life, allegations of domestic abuse, concerning behavior toward women. Our viewers deserve to know. Are you the same dangerous man outside the ring that you are inside it? The question hits the studio like a psychological explosion. Mike's entire demeanor changes instantly, from polite cooperation to lethal focus, from media-trained athlete to street survival mode, from professional constraint to barely contained rage. What did you say? Mike's voice drops to the dangerous quiet that people who know him recognize as warning of impending violence. Patricia recognizes she's achieved the confrontational moment her investigative approach demands, but she misreads Mike's psychological state. In her experience, challenging questions make guilty people defensive and evasive. She doesn't understand that challenging questions make dangerous people dangerous. I said our viewers deserve honesty about who you really are when cameras aren't rolling, when you're not performing the role of disciplined athlete. Are you safe to be around? Should women fear you? Mike stands from his chair, his movement controlled, but carrying psychological pressure that fills the studio. The technical crew stops their routine activities, recognizing that the interview has shifted into territory that might require security intervention. You don't know anything about who I am, Mike says, his voice carrying across the studio and into millions of homes where viewers are witnessing live television transform from routine sports content into something much more dangerous. You don't know anything about my life, my character, my relationships. Patricia maintains her confrontational posture, interpreting Mike's reaction as confirmation that her investigative approach has touched something he wants to hide. Then help us understand, Mike. Address the allegations. Give viewers the truth instead of anger. But Mike's response transcends Patricia's understanding of how investigative journalism works when the subject possesses psychological conditioning that values survival over public relations. The truth. You want the truth about who I am. Mike takes one step closer to Patricia's desk, not aggressively, but purposefully, creating psychological pressure that makes everyone in the studio understand that this situation could escalate beyond television protocol. I'm someone who survived Brooklyn streets that would terrify your suburban imagination. I'm someone who learned that when people attack you, you defend yourself completely. Whether the attack is physical, psychological, or professional. The CNN control room recognizes that their investigative interview has become live television crisis that could damage the network's reputation and potentially endanger their correspondent. Producers debate whether to cut to commercial break or continue broadcasting what might become historic television. You came here pretending to discuss boxing, Mike continues, his intensity growing as he processes the deliberate deception underlying Patricia's interview strategy. But you planned an ambush designed to destroy my reputation based on allegations from people who don't know me, never met me, have no understanding of my actual character. Patricia attempts to regain control of the interview, recognizing that her investigative approach has created live television chaos that serves no journalistic purpose. Mike, if these allegations are false, simply deny them. Give viewers your side of the story. But Mike's response demonstrates why cornering someone with street survival psychology can produce reactions that transcend television industry protocols. My side is that you're sitting behind that desk thinking your press credentials protect you from the consequences of trying to destroy someone's life for ratings. My side is that you chose to attack my character without evidence, without fairness, without any concern for truth. Mike leans toward Patricia's desk, his presence filling the studio in ways that television cameras can't fully capture. You want to know who I am? I'm someone who doesn't accept attacks lying down, whether they come from opponents in the ring or journalists who think they can assassinate character without consequences. The studio falls completely silent, except for Mike's voice and the distant hum of television equipment. 8 million viewers watch as routine sports interview becomes live demonstration of what happens when investigative journalism meets psychological conditioning that doesn't recognize the authority of press credentials. But here's what you really need to understand about character assassination, Patricia. When you attack someone's reputation based on rumors and speculation, you reveal more about your own character than theirs. When you use your platform to destroy rather than inform, you become the problem you claim to be investigating. Patricia realizes her investigative ambush has backfired spectacularly, that Mike's reaction is making her look like predatory journalist rather than responsible investigator. Mike, I'm simply asking questions that viewers want answered. No, you're not, Mike responds with devastating precision. You're creating content designed to generate ratings by destroying someone's reputation. You're using journalism as weapon rather than tool for truth. You're proving that some people with press credentials are more dangerous to society than any athlete could ever be. Mike straightens, steps back from Patricia's desk, his point made through controlled intensity rather than physical intimidation. Here's your truth, Patricia. I'm dangerous to people who try to hurt me. I'm dangerous to people who attack my family. I'm dangerous to people who think they can destroy my life for entertainment. If that makes me dangerous, then yes, I'm dangerous. The CNN control room makes the decision to continue broadcasting, recognizing that cutting away would confirm that their network can't handle the confrontational journalism they promote as their specialty. But I'm not dangerous to people who treat me with respect. I'm not dangerous to people who approach me honestly. I'm not dangerous to people who understand that character assassination isn't journalism. It's just legal form of violence practiced by people who hide behind professional credentials. Mike removes his microphone, his movement indicating that the interview is concluded regardless of Patricia's preference or CNN's broadcast schedule. Thank you for showing 8 million people the difference between asking questions and making attacks. Thank you for demonstrating why some journalists are more interested in destroying people than informing audiences. Mike walks off the CNN set while cameras continue rolling, leaving Patricia sitting alone at the anchor desk, trying to regain professional composure that Mike's response has completely shattered. We'll be right back after this commercial break, Patricia announces to viewers, her voice lacking the authority that characterized her confrontational questioning minutes earlier. The interview becomes immediately legendary in television history, cited as example of how investigative journalism can backfire when reporters underestimate their subject's psychological conditioning and communication capabilities. Within hours, media critics recognized that Patricia's planned character assassination made Mike look sympathetic rather than dangerous, that his controlled intensity demonstrated exactly the kind of intelligent self-defense that suggests the allegations were unfounded. Mike's public image actually improves because of the CNN incident, proving that authentic character can overcome journalistic attacks when someone possesses the psychological strength to respond with truth rather than defensiveness. Patricia Walsh's career continues, but her approach to investigative interviewing changes permanently. She never again assumes that confrontational questioning will automatically expose what she expects to find, and she becomes notably more careful about distinguishing between legitimate investigation and ratings-driven character assassination. Mike Tyson taught me something crucial about journalism and responsibility, Patricia tells colleagues months later. I thought my job was to expose him. Instead, he exposed my own assumptions about what constitutes fair and responsible reporting. CNN uses the incident as training example for correspondents, demonstrating the importance of distinguishing between legitimate, investigative questioning and confrontational entertainment that serves no public purpose. Media schools preserve the interview as teaching tool about the ethics of ambush journalism, showing how attacking someone's character without solid evidence can make the journalist look worse than their intended target. Mike always credits the CNN confrontation as moment. He learned that truth is the best defense against character assassination, that controlled intensity serves him better than anger, and that some attacks are best defeated by exposing the attacker's motivations rather than denying their allegations. Patricia tried to destroy my reputation on live television, Mike tells interviewers years later. Instead, she gave me opportunity to show people who I really am versus who she wanted them to think I was. Her attack became my defense. The lesson transcends television journalism. It's about the difference between legitimate questioning and character assassination, about how authentic character can withstand unfair attacks, and about the danger of underestimating someone's ability to defend themselves psychologically rather than just physically. 8 million viewers learned that lesson, watching Mike transform Patricia's planned ambush into demonstration of controlled strength and intelligent self-defense. Patricia Walsh learned it most directly, trading her assumptions about investigative journalism for understanding that some people possess psychological conditioning that makes them dangerous opponents, even in professional settings where physical capability seems irrelevant. And Mike Tyson? Mike proved that live television can be won through truth and controlled intensity rather than anger and defensiveness, That character assassination often reveals more about the attacker than the target, and that some forms of strength transcend physical capability into psychological domains where survival instincts serve better than media training. Studio 7 still broadcasts CNN programming, but television veterans will tell newcomers about the night Mike Tyson turned investigative journalism into education about fairness, responsibility, and the difference between asking legitimate questions and launching character assassination disguised as professional inquiry.